complete the needful. We have gone through your documents. What is required for you to fill in the documents to we have gone through it. Everything is intact. Congratulations on your aspirations.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me start by giving gratitude to the Almighty God for His grace and mercies all along, and to my parents, Muhammadu Ohiare and Hajia Aminat Ohiare, who are present here, my beautiful wife, Rehanat, for her unwavering love and patience, and the entire family for their strong pillar of support. And also, let me use this opportunity to thank my governor, Alhaji Aya Adoza Bello, for his love, invaluable support, and encouragement. As some of you may already be aware, I resigned my job as the Executive Director of the Rural Education Fund at the Rural Education Agency on Friday, 17th of February, to pick up the expression of interest and nomination forms for the governorship position of my great state, Kogi State, which will take place on the 10th of April 2023. As some of you, permit me to use this medium to thank President Muhammadu Buhari for appointing me for the first 5 years in March 2017 and reappointing me in January 2022 for this very important role, which has afforded me the opportunity of tremendous personal, professional, and political growth. My appreciation also goes to my mentor, Babatunde Raji Fashola, for all he has done and continues to do in my life, the current Minister of Power, Engineer Abubakar D. Aliyu, the Minister of Power, Prince Godi J.D. Abba, my friend and brother, Engineer Ahmad Salihijo Ahmad, my colleagues, Engineer Barka Sajo and Chief Olani Inetufo, and all the board members and staff and friends of the Rural Education Agency where I served for the last 6 years. Thank you to all of you here today, especially to the youth wing of the party and the Progressive Forum, who have traveled from various states across the Federation to accompany me in submitting my expression of interest and nomination forms today. While I am humbled by your show of support, endorsement, and for embarking on this journey with me today, deep down, I know you didn't come here just for me. You came here because of your belief in the promise that this great country holds. With all of the myriad of challenges we face today, you believe that there can be hope. With the pockets of insecurity across segments of our nation today, you believe there can be peace. With the biting economy, especially with the advent of cashless policy, you believe that there is light at the end of the tunnel. Amidst all the noise and divisive tendencies in our politics along the lines of religion and tribe, you believe in the oneness of Nigeria, working hard and bridging various divides and fault lines. We are all on a journey, but let me tell you a bit about my journey so far. I was born here in Abuja on the 6th of March 1985, 37 years ago. My father was a civil servant then, who later resigned and started a business in construction. My mother was a student who worked hard to gain higher education while still trying to raise myself and my siblings, and later became a civil servant as well here in Abuja. I had a very strict upbringing. My parents instilled the salient values of hard work, honesty, patriotism, humility, service to humanity, fear of God, and compassion, which have all guided me till date. And they also give me the freedom to think and dream big, believing in the power of the Nigerian dream, where I can be whoever and whatever I choose to become. This is why, as far back as in junior secondary school, I aspired and dreamt of gaining a doctorate degree before age 30, and also dreamt of joining politics and serving my community and my fatherland in my 30s, thereby inspiring a visionary leadership for the next generation and bequeathing a legacy of infrastructural development and economic prosperity across communities in rural Nigeria. Back then, my curiosity and dissatisfaction in the status quo of our country, especially in the power sector and the economy, and my single motivation of being part of the solution led me to studying economics at my undergraduate level, a master's in energy finance, and obtaining a PhD in rural energy development at 29. Fresh out of university, I had the opportunity of working for a top-tier government agency in Nigeria, but I deliberately chose instead to develop myself and seek solutions to solving the rural electrification challenges of our country. by accepting a job offer with an international development agency that was focused on supporting the Nigerian government develop policies, regulations, and generate data on rural electrification. My work took me to the most rural and neglected communities in Nigeria, where I saw firsthand the impact of lack of electricity in extremely rural communities and how it affected every aspect of their lives, and how this can be traced to the inactions of politicians at various levels. I also saw how the lack of appropriate government policies, regulations, and models and plans have hampered prioritization of renewable energy and rural electrification in the country. It was in the course of this journey, especially having helped develop the right policies, plans, and regulations for government, that it became imperative to be part of its implementation on the other side. This was how I got appointed as an executive director at the Rural Education Agency at the age of 32, the youngest appointee of Mr. President then. It was at the Rural Education Agency as the pioneer executive director of a hitherto comatose fund that I got the opportunity through creating enabling programs and appropriate business models and guidelines, and working collaboratively with various stakeholders to attract funds from private sector, international development agencies, and other commercial banks, and were able to raise over $600 million for various electrification programs for project implementation in rural Nigeria. However, none of these would have been possible if I didn't dare to dream, and if God did not use an enigma and a colossus in the persons of Yahya Adoza Bello to inspire every Nigerian youth to be courageous and take the bull by the horns and make hay while the sun shines. Kogi State has made tremendous progress under the dexterous leadership of His Excellency Yahya Adoza Bello, who became governor of Kogi at the age of 40 and widely opened his doors for women emancipation and youth in politics and governance over the last 7 years. Under Alhaji Yahya Adoza Bello, Kogi State has inched closer towards a more perfect union, given the prevalence of the ethnic divides before he assumed office in 2016, which is evidenced in the current dimension of the Kogi race for governorship, where voters are no longer considering your ethnicity or your religion, but researching on your person, your character, your antecedents, and capacity to deliver. Kogi has also witnessed relative peace and stability and massive infrastructural development in the areas of education, health, roads, bridges, and power, to mention a few, under our amiable leader, Alhaji Yahya Bello. Therefore, the challenge before us is how to sustain and build on the great works of His Excellency Alhaji Yahya Bello, and who's best equipped to succeed him. That's the challenge I will face today. Governor Yahya Bello rose up to the occasion in 2016, answered the call for a generational change in leadership in Kogi, and Allah made him governor. Today, we are called once more, and it is time for my generation to answer that call yet again. For that is our firm faith that when confronted with impossible odds, people who love their state and country can change it. That is what Yahya Bello understood. He had his moments of doubt, he had his encounter with cynics and naysayers, he had his setbacks and disappointments. But through his sheer will and determination and the belief in the promise that this great country, Nigeria, holds for people of his generation and my generation, he moved a nation and helped emancipate the people of Kogi State. Today, I call on my generation, let us be that generation that reshapes Kogi to compete favorably through digital innovation amongst the Committee of States in Nigeria. Let us help sustain and build on the legacy of Governor Yahya Bello in education, healthcare, infrastructure, and security. Let us create the enabling environment for Kogi to attract huge investments like we did at the Rural Electrification Agency. Let us partner with the private sector and welcome them to Kogi to help us create jobs with better pay for our youths. Let us make education more affordable and skill acquisition readily available for our youths. Let us partner with the federal government to build an inland port in Lokoja, and build rail lines connecting the north, build an airport, and build newer roads, and effectively make Kogi the logistics hub of this great nation. Let us democratize prosperity by creating an enabling environment where hard work and innovation is rewarded, and indolence and rent-seeking has no place. Let us be the generation that ends poverty in Kogi State. Let us be the generation that puts Kogi on the map of clean, renewable energy and alternative fuels. Let us turn our perennial flooding and other associated global warming issues and crises into an opportunity for innovation, tourism, job creation, and incentive for businesses. Let us join hands, rise up to the occasion, and vote for me as governor of Kogi State to lead this transformational leadership for the next generation. And I assure you that together we will make the future generations proud of all we would all achieve. My name is Dr. Sanusi Ohiare, and I am running for the office of Governor of Kogi State. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. This is the first African that will come with his parents and his mother. And his